All right, guys, welcome back to Sports Monsters, where nerds talk about sports for a change. I don't know. I'm trying to think of a tagline.
I kind of like it, actually.
Um,
It shows the eclectic personalities that we have. So we do sci-fi and nerdy stuff, but we're into sports, too. So I like it.
yeah. So, we're here to talk about, I guess it's not the end of the first round of the NHL games. We still have one more game, but I feel like I know how that's going to play out.
Yeah. Some fantastic first-round hockey, some surprising hockey. I think I did okay with my picks. How did you do with your picks?
Oh, I should never do sports media as a living. I should I straight up quite literally every hot take I had outside of one was shit. But I feel like
I didn't think you did so great.
but I feel like honestly that's the beauty of that's almost like the beauty of hockey is that you don't know how it's going to go, and it's a war of attrition, really. So
for sure, and we gotta start with the Dallas Avalanche series. When you talk about a war of attrition and not knowing how it's going to go after last night's game, right?
That is by far the best game of round one so far. Well, I mean, we still have one more, but I think we'll talk about that one next, even though it's not done.
Sure.
You go ahead, Matt.
Okay, I'll set the stage. So we have Dallas and Colorado Avalanche. For decades, at least 2 decades, maybe 3 decades, have been rivals meeting in the playoffs quite a bit. You and I both thought this would be a really evenly matched series. I gave a slight edge to Colorado because Dallas was banged up at least. And to kind of add to the intrigue, one of Colorado's best players, and Mikko Rantanen, ended up being traded and going to Dallas. And Rantanen, I think, was a player who was looked at as a good player, but not a great player because he played with Nathan MacKinnon on the Avalanche, who's fantastic. And there wasn't so sure that he would be that good without MacKinnon. News for the entire world, he's that good.
Yeah, this is did everyone just forget McKinnon's that fucking good?
Yeah. So anyway, we got to Game 7 of the series last night. Colorado scores midway through the second on a shorthand goal, which looked like it might. I texted you, in fact. I was like, "Oh, that's a backbreaker to give up a shorthand goal right there at home." Took the crowd completely out of it. They come out in the third. Colorado, Nathan MacKinnon scores again, so they're up 2-0, and it looks like they're just about to shut down the Stars. And also, I have to put into context that Avalanche have lost 7 straight Game 7. So it's been an albatross around their neck or a monkey on their back, whatever you want to call it. Anyway, with 12 minutes left, former Avalanche star, current Dallas Stars star, Mikko Rantanen decides that he is going to lead his team to take over this freaking game. Rantanen scores a hat trick with 12 minutes left in the game and adds an assist on top of it. The Stars eliminate the Avalanche in an unbelievable game.
Yeah, I gotta be honest. This game lived up to the hype. I think you and I agreed that this was gonna be. I thought another game was gonna be the absolute dogfight. No, this was by far the best so far we've had. Now, when Dallas, like you said, when Dallas just broke the Avalanche, you could just feel the air get sucked out of that room. But I gotta give it to Dallas. I think this is what the Dallas Cowboys should be: high-end talent that actually lives up to potential.
Yeah, for sure. If Dallas Cowboys fans have every reason to be disappointed, look to the Stars, my friends.
Yeah.
Look to the Stars.
Yeah, Dallas, I think they looked shaky on defense at the start of this series, and I think they cleaned that up.
Yeah, and to be fair, they're missing one of the top defensemen in the league for the series.
Yeah, that is true. I gotta give them that, but the fact that they overcame this, because Avalanche just just continued. Like those when they play, like the Avalanche came at him like did not give him a second to breathe in some of these periods.
No.
Yeah. So the fact that they like figured out a way, despite everything, I think Dallas is going to be the team to watch. But that really depends on like what happens next, of who comes out of that Winnipeg Blues. That Jets Blues game. Which, by the way, can we just talk about that now?
Yeah, go right ahead.
Winnipeg, I had so much fucking faith in you. Like, you dominated continuously in that Blues game. And the moment there was one goal in I think Game 6 or Game 5 that made me go, oh, I know what's about to happen. And sure enough, they're on the verge of choking.
Yeah, they really are.
Are you going full Leafs, Jets?
They sort of look like it, don't they?
Yeah.
They really do.
I don't know what happened. Like, Winnipeg had all of this momentum in the preseason, and but again, the curse of the President's Trophy, I guess, it's real.
Yeah, so our fans who don't know that the President's Trophy means you got the most points in the regular season, basically the best record. But year after year after year, those teams seem to really falter in the playoffs, often in the first round.
Yeah, speaking as a Bolts fan, that happened to us.
Yep.
Yeah, that happened to us twice.
Yeah.
So I guess it's real. If they don't, unless they somehow pull out some last-minute win tonight, like they pull like a Panthers during the last series of Stanley Cup series, I have no faith in the Jets. And now Blues going into this is actually, I kind of am curious to see how Dallas would stack up the Blues would stack up to Dallas.
Yeah, I am too. They played a lot over the past couple of years in series, but I would like to see that series. And that would be a fun one. Winnipeg, of course, had like the city. The Jets haven't been anything in a while, so it'd be nice for the city. I was kind of pulling for them, but they look like they're reeling right now.
Yeah. Again, that could change tonight. Maybe they could pull some out of their ass, but I do not have. And I can admit when I'm wrong. God knows I was this earlier. But I don't know if they can. If like they keep playing like they did the last game, what's the point, right?
Yeah, they have no shot. They have got to turn things around, or they have no shot. And right now, they don't look like a team who knows how to play in the playoffs, which you see a lot with teams that make it there the first time, right? It's why for like a young team in hockey in particular, it'll be like it's worth it for them just to make the playoffs and see what it's like because it is a different level.
Yeah. Now, here's an interesting question. Like, let's say hypothetically, Blues reverse sweep the Jets and go on to play Dallas. Do you think the momentum of beating Winnipeg is going to give them an edge? Because I've seen that before. Remember the 2021 Canadiens?
Yes. That is interesting because obviously the Stars have a ton of momentum too, coming off pulling out a Game 7 with less than 12 minutes to go down by 2 goals. Like, both have a ton of momentum. Both have gone 7 games, so it's not like one's going to be rested or not. I would still favor the Stars in that series. Hypothetically, I favor the Stars over either of the two teams, honestly. But I'd still favor them over St. Louis, despite the momentum issue.
Yeah, I believe that, yeah.
How about another round that we did call? I know you called this one too. After 3 years in a row of losing to the Oilers, the Kings took a 2-0 lead and were both like, Edmonton's not playing their best hockey. They're going to wake up, and they woke the hell up.
Yeah, I swear to God, I think the entire Edmonton team needs to go on Maury Povich to see if they are LA Kings' dad.
Yeah, they really are. Because 4 years in a row they booted him. That's unbelievable.
That is like fucking Bruins to the Toronto Maple Leafs.
Yes, yeah. What do you do if you're the Kings at this point? Like, do you blow it up? Do you try something like?
Oh, I would go after that. After that, I'd go, if I'm the owner of the LA Kings, I'm going nuclear. I'm like, you cannot do this again. Like, the core's aging, all your contracts are going up. Clearly, the coaching staff does not know what to do. If I'm LA, if I am the owner of the LA Kings, I am just like, the moment everyone went into that locker room to get their shit, I'd be like, find other jobs.
Yeah, I kind of agree with you, because what other options do you have? Like, to try to work your schedule to avoid playing Edmonton in the first round? You can't do that.
And it's not even like, losing to Edmonton, like losing to the same team. It's the fact that you keep losing again and again. And it's not even to like losing to Edmonton. If you play, actually, no, it is playing to Edmonton, because if you know how to, if you played them 4 years in a row, you should know how that team operates by now.
They should. The problem is Edmonton has Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl. Like, where you know what they're going to do, and it's like, good luck trying to stop them, right?
Yeah. But, like, at that point, like, Draisaitl and McDavid are on that team. You should know how this works by now. At no point did LA. I don't know why my voice is cracking, by the way. I literally have, like, when I'm recording this video, I literally, like, woke up, like, a little over an hour ago, so. As I was saying, at no point, there was no game plan, there was no strategy, and you just gave up after that 2-0 lead, because you thought you had them. You just took the foot off the gas.
They sure did, and then boneheaded plays, like, I like Quentin Byfield, huge center. Man, that play where he just could have dumped it out of the zone and he tried to, like, skill his way around the Oilers, that cost him huge.
Yeah. At this point, I am just like, what if I'm the Kings owner? I am going into that. I'm just calling a meeting tomorrow, looking at the coaching staff and going, thank you for your service. Get the fuck out of my office.
Yeah, the coach, I think the players too. Like I said, you got contracts coming up. I would start looking to trade for young assets and rebuild at this point. And then you let McDavid and Draisaitl move on or age out or whatever the hell else happens. You're rebuilding.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, I just don't know how do you keep doing this? Like, it's 4 years in a row, and like after, and again, it's Edmonton. I get it, but like at the same time, guys, you didn't have a plan. You didn't have any strategy. After that 2-0 lead, you just thought you were invincible.
Yeah, it almost reminds me of like the Bills and the Chiefs.
Yeah, it is feeling like it's starting to feel like a Bills Chiefs thing with them, but
it's worse.
It's so much worse. Like, it's not even like in divisional or championship rounds. At least there's that. At least there's accomplishments with Buffalo when they get there and face the Chiefs. But LA, you have not fought anyone but Edmonton.
Yeah, like you said, Edmonton is clearly their parents at this point.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know what else to say, if I'm being honest.
No, I'm with you too. I think to switch to, might as well finish out the West. To switch to the other bracket there, not a bad series between the Wild and the Vegas Knights, but as we figured, Vegas took it to them. The Wild just can't make it out of the first round. They are the epitome of a mid-team, right?
It's funny because they're from Minnesota, because like the Vikings, they can't get out of the wild card round either.
No.
I'm sorry. Well, at least you have the Timberwolves, guys. They at least made it to the divisional.
True, that's something. But it does make for, I think, Edmonton Vegas will be an excellent second round series.
Yeah, I think that's going to be an even keel series. The thing is that Vegas had a little time to rest.
They did. And when we talked about McDavid and Draisaitl, Jack Eichel in Vegas is no slouch either.
Yeah. Position. So here's my question. Like, obviously, I think Edmonton's defense kind of woke up after that 2-0 lead LA had. So do you think that's going to like offset Vegas?
I do. I think Edmonton's like got a little bit of cold water splashed in their face after going down 2-0 and then realized what they had to do. from the beginning, I've been saying a rematch of last year's Stanley Cup final. I think we're going to get Edmonton and Florida again. So I think Edmonton defeats the Vegas in like 6. What do you think?
I think it is going to be. That's another go to Game 7, but I think it's more like I'm going to say Edmonton in 6, but my money now is on Dallas as the team to beat. After seeing
Dallas was really good.
Yeah, I would not put it past Edmonton again, but like Dallas, when they wake up in that matchup, oh no. Like,
yeah, plus they're going to get back 2 of their better players in Robertson and Heiskanen, right?
Yeah, that's the other thing. They're getting players back at the right time.
And not just any players. Like Heiskanen is one of the best defensive players in the league.
Yeah, so I would say like Edmonton's a good pick, Matt. But I think it's going to be Panthers and Dallas.
I can see it for sure. I'm just saying who I thought from the beginning. I'm going to stick with them, but Dallas would not surprise me to come out of the West at this point. I mean, I think we're both clearly in agreement, whether it be Winnipeg or St. Louis. I think they win that in 5, probably. Either one.
Yeah, but getting back to like Vegas, Minnesota. If I'm going to apply to what I said to LA and apply it to Minnesota. It's time to I think it's time to do at least a retool or some reevaluation on coaching staff.
Yeah, well, I think for them, the main issues are GM because they're constantly up against it with their contracts and salary cap.
Yeah.
So it's Bill Marion always screwing stuff up out there, right? Like.
Yeah, I think it's just time to let the general management go. I think also if I had any say in the Wild, I would probably go the length of maybe we should just let some of these because it's starting to turn into a New Orleans Saints situation in the Wild, where it's like all these contracts are going to bind you out of trying to get new talent or any free agents. So I think
that's what they're stuck at.
Yeah,
yes.
I literally think it's time to just cut the cord because nothing's working.
No, and they're not drafting well enough. In the NHL, you can find talent. You don't have to be necessarily in the top 3 like in the NBA to get talents, or like the NFL where you can find talent later on. But they don't seem to be doing a great job of that either.
Yeah, I think it's just time for the Wild to like trying to do some reevaluation here. Getting back to the game as a whole, I think Vegas knew when to go in for that kill. Unlike the Wild, who seemed to we're just gonna play some middling defense and see what happens. They just got soft. I feel like Minnesota just got soft.
They did. You can't do that with Jack Eichel up there. That's for sure.
Yeah, I was like, did you guys forget Eichel's? You're playing Eichel. He's not on your team, remember?
Right. Yeah. That didn't surprise me at all. That's how that series went.
Yeah. So you want to go to the Eastern Conference now?
I do, but are you sure you want to?
Let's just get it over with, man.
Sure. So
Tampa. No. Let me talk first. I'm sorry, Matt. I don't mean to cut you off, but I gotta say shit. Tampa. What the fuck? I don't know what to do. You gave up on offense. Oh, thank God you had at least one power play. The first time in years in the season. I mean, in your Stanley Cup runs. The core is aging. Your contracts are starting to come up, and this may have been your last shot for a while. But no, you just decided to let the foot off the gas consistently. Every time. The absolute moment you just allowed Florida to just run right over you. The moment you got any momentum, you immediately lost it. At no point was there any fight by the end of this series. You just were thinking about, man, I can't wait to go on my vacation. Stay there, if that's the case. I do not know what to do with this team anymore. You basically had a championship core. I don't know if the Avalanche series, the Stanley Cup game where you played the Avalanche, broke you. You just thought you were going to repeat and thought we were going to three-peat in the fucking NHL, keep the cup there for 3 years in Tampa, and it broke you. I'm serious. I think after that, that whole third series, it broke you. Because now it's like, what's the point? You have the core is aging out. I don't know how many draft picks you have given away for this. There is nothing on this team anymore. There is no fight. There is clearly no leadership. I don't know what to do. I mean, I'm happy for the Panthers. They look like the dominant force in the East. But guys, fucking what? I think just tear it down at this point. Because clearly it's not working anymore. All right, I'm done. You go ahead, Matt.
Well, you basically nailed everything. So we both thought that the Bolts and the Panthers would be a 7-game series because they were probably the two best teams in the East. And like you said, the Panthers showed that they were just on another level compared to the Lightning at this point. They basically curb stomped them.
It was a massacre. It was a fucking massacre.
Yeah, it really was on every level. In terms of scoring, in terms of the Panthers just beat the hell out of them too, honestly. Yeah,
and good luck, Toronto. Tampa just allowed Florida to get 2-3 days of rest. So have fun walking into that buzzsaw.
Yeah. Toronto's got a lot of talent. They did finally close out Ottawa after looking like they were going to beat Toronto again and collapse. But if you look at it on paper, in terms of star power and stuff, Toronto matches up well with Florida, but Florida just looks like they are a machine right now. And we know Toronto has a history of falling apart in the playoffs, so I think Florida just steamrolls through them like they did the Lightning, right?
Yep. I think it is basically the other thing, I think Toronto got some injuries there. I will say, going back to the game, I do think that hit was pretty shitty and no one called it. That was I'm not usually bad call, whatever. No, that was a very, that hit on, oh God, who was it? You all know the hit I'm talking about if you're a hockey fan, but one of the Florida players did do a pretty shit hit on, what's his name? And it was no call, absolutely no call. And that feels like what cost the game in game. Yeah, it was game 3.
I thought that was very questionable too, but it certainly wasn't what made the difference in the series.
Yeah.
Is Lightning missing Steven Stamkos' leadership? Maybe I know Stamkos is getting up there too. Don't get me wrong, but sometimes those intangibles make a difference.
Yeah, I don't know what to do, man. I just don't know what's up with this team. I don't know what to say.
I think you nailed it. I think it's just, you see this in every sport. A dynasty reaches its point where it needs to start breaking up and rebuilding. And if you have on too long, you just make the rebuild longer and worse.
Yeah, and the thing is, we weren't even a long dynasty.
No.
And, I get it. I know some people are going to be football teams hold on to a dynasty for years. Yeah, but, they don't play the same kind of season that hockey players do. They get weeks of rest. It's go for Florida, for hockey teams.
Yeah, there's no 2 weeks between the conference championship and the Stanley Cup Finals like there is in football. It is a grind. It is one thing I want to ask you, because you've seen the Lightning do this, you just referenced their loss to the Avalanche when they're going for a 3-peat. Florida would not be going for a 3-peat, but this would be their 3rd straight trip to the Stanley Cup Finals. That's a lot of hockey. Do you think it's going to catch up to them at some point?
I think it will. I think this is this could be, this could be their chance to I know they're not going to 3-peat, but I do think this could be their shot to their last shot to get a double one, because again, those dynasty those contracts are going to go up regardless. So yeah. I think you gotta go with all in unless you want to sign some big checks. But at the same time, you literally were playing a dying empire. I think that should tell you, hey, maybe we should bring in more younger core and get ready to keep this shit going.
No, I totally agree, and it could be a chance for the Mitch Marner, Austin Matthews, William Nylander core of the Toronto Maple Leafs to finally take a step forward. But I mean, history is not saying it's a good chance they're going to beat Florida in the next round, right?
Yeah, I will say it's probably going to be the most violent game of the series. And those like Toronto and Florida do not like each other to begin with. On top of that, with everything going on in like the political sphere, there's just going to be fights. Like it's just going to be, it's going to be I think Toronto and Florida may not it's going to be the bloodiest game.
Yeah, for sure. Plus, Florida picked up Brad Marchand, who Toronto hates from his time with the Bruins and beating them all the time, right?
Yeah. Brad Marchand just knows how to get under Toronto's skin.
He sure does. And he definitely will. And we look at the other series. After the first game, they both thought that maybe Montreal could give Washington a little trouble, but then Washington just kind of shut that down pretty quickly.
Yeah. Now, I will say, actually, I kind of want to, I think the next game, because this one I was completely wrong on, Capitals and Canadiens. Montreal, I was rooting for you guys.
Yeah, I was too. I still thought Washington would win, but I was rooting Montreal. They're just not there yet. They are a young team, so it's another case of maybe getting their feet wet a little bit more. I do like their young core with Lane Houston, Nick Suzuki, Cole Caulfield. I do think they've got a lot of promise going forward still.
Yeah, I think this is more of a learning. This isn't like the Bolts or the Wild or LA. This is more of this team's learning experience. This is how and the fact they put up much fight as they did, especially what game was it? Game 6, they were fighting till the end.
Yeah, they didn't just roll over and die. They were in it, and it was just again not having that playoff experience. Alexander Ovechkin turned the clock back a little bit in the series too, right? He still looked like the all-time leading goal scorer in the series.
Yeah, I will say that I think if anyone is going to give Florida any trouble in the East, it's probably going to be, depending on how Toronto plays it out, I think it'll be the Capitals that'll give the Florida, when they meet them. If they meet them, I should say, if they meet them in the championship, the Capitals are going to probably give Florida the most fight in the East.
I think so too. Now, for the other series we looked at, it was kind of almost over when we talked at our last recording, but to the surprise of no one, the Hurricanes blew right through New Jersey.
Yeah, I'll give them credit. They did, like the Canadiens, Jersey did try to hang in there.
I think they have some injuries, too. So
yeah.
They're banged up. But Carolina's just a very solid team. How do you like that matchup with Washington? Who do you like in that series?
I'm still going to roll with the Capitals, because for two reasons. One, I think they just have, a bit more on offense. And the other thing is I do not trust the Canes getting past the divisional. When's the last time they did?
It's been a long time.
Yeah. So I think the Canes, this will be a war of attrition. I would not be shocked if this goes to game 6 or 7, but I'm still going with the Capitals.
I agree with you. I think I had the Caps going to the conference finals from the beginning, so I do think that's likely going to happen. It'd be a nice story for Ovechkin too in the year he breaks the goal record to go to playoff run, right?
Yeah. If anything, if the Capitals beat the Panthers and then go on to the Stanley Cup and win it, Ovechkin can just retire.
He should. It'd be like when David Robinson won that second title, and even more so because David Robinson break a scoring record that you're like, dude, you're a Hall of Famer, you broke the record this year, just ride off into the sunset now. Don't come back and ruin it. Right?
Yeah.
No need to pad the stats. It'll be a fun series, though. It'll be a fun series. But I think the takeaways, like we mentioned in this first round, is in the East, it's the Bolts. It's time to tear down and rebuild for sure. I'm like you really hit it more than I did because that's your team. But I think so, and clearly you do. Is that the sentiment around most people down there? I
think it's getting to that point. Yeah. After this embarrassment, I think the general consensus is among the fan bases, it's time to just pull it down.
Yeah. The other part is Florida looks like a juggernaut. I think the Ottawa, we didn't talk a ton about the series. The Leafs beat them. For the most part, Ottawa's a young team too, though, so there's kind of like same for them for Montreal, like get their feet wet kind of thing.
Yeah, like. And I'll give Ottawa this. They almost pulled it off. You had them.
Yeah, they had them on the ropes. They did, because they were close to forcing a Game 7. Toronto scored late. So that's something Toronto hasn't been able to do. We can talk more after the series. Toronto, if they put up a good fight against Florida and still lose, they win. I think you keep this core together. If they get just trashed, is it time to break their core up too?
I think, yeah. If that's another situation where it's like, if you just get mollywomped, even if you lose regardless of how hard you played, you just need to like pull it down. It's another like. I think it's time to call in a rebuild, because it's nothing like if you can, the farthest you can get in decades is a second round exit. I don't know what to tell you, boss.
Yeah, no, that's fair. And then the Canes and the Capitals kind of doing what we thought, like a second round matchup in what should be the easier bracket because they're avoiding. I would have ranked the teams going in Florida, Lightning, and Montreal or Toronto as the top three. So then other brackets kind of avoiding them. So I can see why they're advancing the way they are.
Yeah. I still hold that, like, I'm going to hold on until proven otherwise. It's Dallas and Florida for the Stanley Cup right now. What about you? Where do you stand? Like, I would say, like, an alternate, maybe I'd say Edmonton and Washington is like a...
Yeah, I can see that. Yes, either one of those two. I'm still sticking with my Edmonton, Florida from the beginning. However, for sure, Dallas showed me a lot. So it would not surprise me if Dallas ends up beating everybody else in the West and going all the way to the finals. It would not surprise me at this point. I would give Edmonton still my 1 and Dallas my 1A. In the East, yeah, I'd still think Florida for sure. I think Washington would be the second tier one. Florida just looks so good. I guess it'll be a good litmus test, Tyler, to see how bad the Lightning really become. If Florida really struggles against Toronto or loses to them, that's more of a sign that the Lightning have really fallen off. If they just continue to curb stomp people the way they did, then it's just like Florida's just that good.
Yeah. I think if they can beat Toronto, nothing can stop them.
You don't think the Stars or Winnipeg can beat them in the finals?
I think like Dallas could put them on the ropes, but I gotta say Florida.
Yeah, I would still favor them too. It kind of stinks. I'm not a big Panthers fan. No offense to the Panthers fans out there, but I appreciate their team. So.
I mean, I'll give Panthers this. They were in the basement for decades.
Oh, they were, and they built a team. They've done it without a mega star. They have a lot of stars on that team. Don't get me wrong, right? Like they have a lot of stars on that team, but they don't have necessarily. I guess Matty Tkachuk is probably their biggest name value, But like Barkov doesn't get a lot of talk. He's very underrated, very good player, right?
Yeah, and keep in mind, like I know people forget how bad the Florida Panthers were. They were literally the definition of the basement. To give you that, Buffalo was ranked higher than them. The Buffalo Sabres.
Yeah. So Florida really has turned it around.
Yeah, and that I think people forget that was last year's Stanley Cup. That was their first Stanley Cup ever.
Right. It just seems they made it the year before. It seems like they've been a very good team, but you're right. It's been a while, so good for the Panthers.
Yeah.
But it should be really interesting hockey. I think, like you said, the Vegas-Edmonton series going forward should be a lot of fun. I think that the Toronto-Florida has the capability of being a great series. I think that the Capitals and Hurricanes should be a very fun series. I think the Stars just steamroll whoever they get from tonight's winner, though.
Yeah, I think regardless, because if you're Winnipeg, you've basically beaten yourself up and you're exhausted after fighting back to win against that choke. if you're the Blues, I think you have basically burnt yourself out, and to make that comeback.
Yeah, and it wasn't like the Stars and Avalanche where it was a back and forth series,
Yeah.
So I agree with that.
Yeah. So I think we've covered everything.
Yeah, that's all I have for this time.
Yeah, all right. But we'll see how it goes. We'll come back and talk more when we get to past the divisional round and stuff like that. We were going to talk about the NFL draft, but I think there's just the talk.
I got tied up with stuff, so that it kind of sucked. I apologize for that. Feel free to go on without me next time.
Nah, you're good, man. I think I was just gonna basically talk about how I'm gonna say this as a Titans fan. I don't know if Cam Ward is the guy, but he's certainly more of the guy than Shedeur.
Yeah, I would say so.
Yeah, I will give him credit that Cam clear, even the organization has faith in Cam. I mean, they have to at this point. He was the best quarterback available in a very QB weak draft, and I understand that you had to take a quarterback because you can't do Will Levis again. You cannot. I knew Will Levis was not the guy when they drafted him, and I knew rolling with Levis, he was not the guy at all. So
quarterback is one of the hardest things to find in the NFL.
Yeah. So I understand that you had to take him. You had to take Cam Ward, and I do have hope for him. He is the organization has hope in him, and they're not trying to roll. They have done stuff. They did get they still have Calvin Ridley, and they just signed Tyler Lockett to the wide receiver core, and that's a veteran wide receivers. That's solid. That's early good. That's a nice solid duo for a rookie QB.
Yeah, for sure.
So I am gonna say I have hope. Meanwhile, Philadelphia just rebuilt their DC line within just 3 days.
Yeah, I was thrilled with what the Eagles did. They rebuilt that defense. I think, and I'm trying not to be a homer here, but I think we have a very good shot at repeating. I mean, as an outsider, what do you think?
Yeah, I think really the only teams in the NFC that could actually be of any threat. It's gonna sound I think the Packers, I think Tampa and Los Angeles.
Not a fan of the Washington?
What? Yeah, Washington. Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, I forgot Washington. I'm still waking up and I have not eaten, so I'm running on fumes.
All right, well, I'll let you get going then, because I got something I can do too. So
yeah.
Thank you.
All right.
I do appreciate it.
Yep. You guys tell us in the comments below if you guys watch this. Let us know what you guys thought of this. Just comment below. Let us know. I'm Mr. Multiverse. I'll see you next time in the Multiverse.